I don't just like mucking about with cars and rust buckets. I like building engines too. Used to do a lot of it. Not done a bit for a while, but don't mean that I can't. It just means that I've got shit tons of engines everywhere like this built up and no use for them. So I've kind of stopped because I'm just building them for no reason. But this is a spare Pinto turbo I've got in case the one goes in the Sierra, the red Sierra known as the pig. And this is what you call a proper Pinto turbo. So it's confusing for you lads out in the States and Aussies, because I know that the lads in the States call the engine out, they call the Lima engine, the 2.3 Lima engine out of the Mustang, they call that a Pinto. And then they got a Pinto car as well, which is confusing. Well, in the UK, we call the engine out of our Fords, the 4-banger, we call that a Pinto. That's what we call it. But I've got 2 Limas as well, because I've got a Mustang, believe it or not, with a Lima. And then I've got a Lima. I have to have one as a spare. I have a spare of everything, because I like to fucking razz them. And if they blow up, they blow up. Don't give a shit. Just build another and send it. That's my style. That's how I did it. But they rarely blow up, to be honest. I mean, well, the last engine that failed on me about 8 years ago, and that was my own fault for doing a load of gymkhana in it, and it just got oil starvation and spun a rod bearing. That's all that happened. We got it fixed. Didn't do too much damage. Anyway, this is a Pinto turbo, and it's a little different to the other ones because this is a proper one. Basically, your block on these is the exact same as a Cosworth, but then that's where it ends. Your crank's not the same, the throw's not the same, the rod's not the same. So that is a Cosworth short block. So it's a Cosworth, exactly what you would get in a Cosworth. I think it's a 205 block, yeah, it's a 205 block. It's got Cosworth rods and pistons and crank, but then the deck height on your block's wrong for Pinto. So I had that adjusted. I can't remember now off the top of my head, it was a long time ago, but I got it adjusted so that we've got the right compression ratio so that this all works proper. I think if you just go sticking a Pinto head onto a Cosworth block, you end up with crazy low compression. So you've got to take some meat out of the squish gap. That's what you got to do. So it's pretty simple. It's a Cosworth short end, and then it's a Pinto 205 unleaded head, because you don't need to port them. They're overkill as they are. So I've got that, and then I've put a Brands Hatch Performance, BHP in this country, Brands Hatch Performance. They do a turbo profile cam. I've put one of them in it, that you can see there. Oh, beautiful. Everything's beautiful. So it's got one of them. Not necessarily to go turbo, but you'll pick up about 40 horsepower more with one of them cams. Maybe 50. You can tell it's got Cosworth injectors in it. This is a hybrid turbo that I built myself here out of all bits. But I've got turbos galore. That one there is capable of pushing out 500-600 horse. So that was on the Cosworth I had. So I've had all them Cosworths too. Brand new fucking water pump, brand new high pressure oil pump. Can't think of anything else really. You can tell it's Cosworth because you've got a 9-bolt crank. That's the flywheel. That's the ECU. That's the wiring loom ready to go. These are the flywheel bolts. See, has 9. When I do a Pinto, I've got shit tons of these stacked around the building. When I do a Pinto, they only have 6. So they're ready to go on. They were just resting on the motor. There's a few bits been robbed off it. See, I went to town, shot blasting it, painting it all. I do a nice job of things. Sometimes. There's your oil return. Just go straight in. There's already a hole there on the 205 with a bolt in. Take the bolt out, go straight back through there for a return. But sometimes I put a Cosworth sump on, but I kind of stopped doing that because they're like 400 quid now. Other times I'll put a return in the sump itself. I've made loads of them like that. We're not going to use a Dizzy anymore. It'll have a blanking plate in it. You won't need it because we're going to use this trigger wheel to count timing. So that's how that's going to work. But basically, when you put one together like that, and then there's all your Everything's decent make brands and stuff. ARP, Victor Mines, fucking... These are called Aeroquip. Nuts. A little slit in them. These are the bollocks for turbos and stuff like that. They won't come loose. They won't heat up and come loose. So that's for the exhaust manifold's just resting on there. That's to put that on proper. Turbo manifold. What have we got here? Rocker cover bolts, obviously, because it's not fastened on. So everything's there ready to go, but it's just a spare. It's just sat. It'll run that. It'll just go straight in and run on the base map, no problem. And then I've got a few files for a similar engine like this that I could just flash straight to that ECU, and you probably get it run just as good as you will on a dyno. Maybe slightly out, but nothing major. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Not a great deal to it, but that there should be able to run. I've got 2 mates with them, and they run just over a bar and a half of boost each. I think they're at, what are they at? 21, 23 psi, something like that. I mean, I'm not bothered about going that far, but you can basically, they've got theirs in Capris, they've had them on dynos, and they both come up about 350 brake at the flywheel on pump fuel with no. They didn't use any octane boosters like I do, so we could go a bit higher here, I suppose, with mixing fuels, blending fuels. But yeah, 350 horsepower in a car that weighs 800 kilos, just fantastic. Anyway, you don't need any more than that. It just translates to wheel spin and a load of noise. You're just going nowhere, so there's no point, is there? So that's what we're talking about. That's the spare for the Sierra, but it also fits in the Mark 1 Escort I've shown you. It fits in the Starlet rear-wheel drive car I've got. It fits in pretty much every car that's here, because they've all been designed and built by me with that in mind. A lot of them have had each other's engines in them and running gear and stuff like that. Everything's interchangeable. That way, I don't have to have a billion of everything. But yeah, engine mad. I like building Lotus Cortina engines too. I'm pretty into that. That's pretty fun. It's all fun, innit? If you're fucking insane, but yeah, I am. I'm completely batshit crazy. So there you go. They say if you're aware of it though, you're not. So you decide. Au revoir.